scan?
Woke up this morning feeling fine.
You are so weird.
Does she have a lot of problems?
It's nothing too concerning.
What's this?
New prop for work.
Something tells me
Spirit, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Ouija Origin of Evil. Yes, we got a prequel to a pointless horror movie that I did not like at all. But the big difference with this one is that I actually liked this one. Okay, so I saw the first one and I went like, no, this is dumb. And then they announced that like, oh, we're doing a prequel. And it's like, why? It's like I became a philosopher at that point. I just went, why? And it just I never understood it. And then even in the trailer I was going like, okay, there's quite some spooky stuff happening. But I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? Then I didn't watch it until like years and years later. And when I watched it, I realized, oh, it's done by Mike Flanagan. Okay, this has got to be good. And when it comes to Mike Flanagan's stuff, I really, really enjoy his stuff. Like, like Dr. Sleep, Haunting of Hill House is still freaky to me. Midnight Mass, I think was very, very good. Most recently, just did the Fall of the House of Usher, and now is writing a Dark Tower series for Amazon Prime. And yeah, he's I like his stuff quite a bit. So when I'd heard that he did this, I was like, oh, well, I gotta watch it. And I'm actually kind of glad that I did. Because this takes place in the 60s in LA. And it's about this family who kind of runs this, like, pretty much, like, fake paranormal investigation, clinic. When, they start using a Ouija board, then things get interesting. And then the youngest daughter uses it one night to contact her deceased father. And, it's in the trailer, gets throat punched and gets possessed. And then, havoc ensues. So, even from the trailer, I was looking at it going like, oh, well, this could be interesting. But then at the same time, they did all that stuff in the trailer for the first Ouija, where I was looking at it going like, oh, they're doing all this interesting stuff. I wonder what's going to happen. Saw the movie, and it sucked. So and this was before I knew who Flanagan was. So, like, I didn't see Oculus yet. So this was after Oculus, so I didn't see it. And yeah, until, I watched Hill House and then I believe Midnight Mass, and then was looking at his filmography and I spotted this one. I was like, oh, he did that one? Like, okay, that's probably why it has a good like track. Like, people are saying like, oh, it's actually pretty good. So I'm like, okay, like maybe I'll sit down and watch this one day. And I'm glad that I did, because this was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And yeah, it explains, it's the prequel to the first movie, where it explains the spirit that haunts the college kids from the first movie. And it was actually, clever. It was interesting the whole time. There were parts where I was like getting like, it was getting really freaky. And I was just like, oh, well, oh boy. because Flanagan is able to, he's one of those like creators nowadays where he's able to, you know, freak me out at least once. Like like for example, in The Haunting of Hill House, when there's the tall man spirit, no. In Midnight Mass, it's super quick, but the main creature in that show like leaps out like right at the camera, and it just startled me, and I had to like jump back. You know, even in like The Haunting of Bly Manor, which I know he didn't fully do, but there was a part in there where I wasn't expecting, and it made me legitimately jump. So he's able, and then in Oculus, you know, once you get to the third act of that one, yeah, it's just like, yep, I'm not gonna sleep tonight. So thanks, Flanagan. Love you, but thanks, man. Thanks for the nightmares. So he's able to, you know, get creative, and you know, this is no exception, because there were parts where I'm just like, oh well, that's creepy, and then the final shot of the film is what made me jump, because it was just like, this is like slowly, and then boom, it's happening, and you're like, whoa, and then then cuts, and so it's just like, okay, was not expecting that final thing, and that shows how creative Flanagan is, and he. There's a podcast I listened to where he said that for this, they said that they were pretty much saying like, hey, look, there's this element, there's this element, there's this element, but other than that, go wild. And they even said that because it was 60s, they were actually able to digitally edit some like cigarette burns in there, and they thought that, you know, older audience members would look at that and go like, oh, that's cool, or like, yeah, that's clever, and younger audience members may look at that and just go like, oh, that's just a cool effect. So they didn't worry too much about that. But yeah, this is just a really solid, you know, prequel, where it's just like, honestly, I'll just watch this one. I don't care, and just pretty much forget like, yeah, it's a prequel, but it's a prequel to a movie that I'm like, yeah, I don't like that one. It's not like Pearl is a prequel to X, which both movies I quite enjoy. It's not like that. And yeah, or even like, you know, like the prequel to The Thing. It's just like, I don't think that movie's particularly bad. It's just the CGI looks awful, and it sucks because that movie was going to be all practical. But it's like, yeah, it seems kind of pointless, because you're basically telling exactly what I was thinking happened. But oh well, I don't hate it. But with this case, it's a prequel to a movie that I really did not like, and yeah, it's just like, yeah, I'll forget that this is a prequel, and just say like, nope, it's by itself, and I don't care, even though origin is in the title. I don't care. So I thought this movie, you know, from the acting aside, I thought was really cool. The build up to the scares, I thought, worked quite well, but Flanagan is just so good at that. And yeah, it was surprisingly like really cool and interesting, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I surprisingly like really enjoyed it. And this personally gets a great, which is a huge step up from the first one, because they gave that a terrible. And yeah, a movie that I was very hesitant on watching in the first place, and then was saying like, oh, you don't like this, but what if Flanagan did it? Okay, you're pulling me in. That's the thing, is Flanagan is one of those creators where you know, anything with his name on it, I will try to sit and watch. But if he wrote it and directed it, then I will for sure watch it, even if, like with this, I'm super hesitant about it, you know. But at the end of the day, I watched it and I was like, wow, this is so surprisingly good and a huge step up from the first one, which I don't think had anything good about it whatsoever.
Who are you talking to, Doris?
Daddy, are you there? Who are you?